beautiful man, and it's connecting. Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. I was like, how's my hair? Oh, I might do a little hat moment. There we go. Well,
You look cool
yeah,
either way, babe. You look
that's
fantastic.
right.
My eyes,
You,
I've been staring at this screen all day. I'm like, they're literally like closing in on me.
what time is it over there?
It's 5 o'clock in the evening.
So you really have been doing this all day?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and it's like your
fun.
morning, right? Near, well,
Yeah,
just
well,
after.
it's noon, but yes, it is my morning.
How has it been?
Good. So, my favorite bakery in the whole world is called Levain Bakery, and they
Yeah.
have these incredible, huge cookies, and they never deliver. And I was like, oh, I wonder if during COVID, if like they're delivering right now, and they are. So I just devoured all of these, not one cookie, but three cookies and two
Fantastic.
breads.
Oh,
Oh, it was
jealous.
such a good morning. It
You
was such a
always
good
have
morning.
like such a good spread, don't you? You're like so good at making like a
Thank
spread.
you. Yeah, this is the after photo. I did post a before photo. I'm gonna post an after photo too now, for sure.
Love that. Love that. Oh, so you've been, it's your morning, you're like just getting into your day,
Yeah,
living the best life, and you just thought, hey, we'll come to a Q and A on the Heather's
but
account.
why not? Yeah, I'm hanging with my dog. He's busy with
Oh,
the toy.
cute, cute, cute. So you're in New York now?
Yeah, I'm in New York. I've basically just been going to the epicenter of COVID. I was in Florida. I'm in New York. Uh, just been nuts the past
You're like,
past.
don't chase me, COVID. I'll chase you. It's fine.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh, Florida's bad right now. Let me go to Central Florida. Oh God.
Oh
Um,
dear. Oh, well, you look great. And
well,
I've just
thank
got
you.
like some questions that are super easy.
Oh, I'm so
And
ready.
just Heather's related. And yeah, you just answer as you will, basically.
Okay, cool. I'm
Um,
gonna try and see if I can put this in a
balance
way
it
that.
out.
Oh, great. And the cookie. Okay, the coffee's there, so people. All right, I like it.
Love
Great.
this.
Cooper's
Um,
there.
oh, cute. So the first question is, what was your audition process like for Heather's?
Okay, so this is so. Oh, all right. I moved to LA, which, if anyone knows anything about like acting in LA, it's like musical theater does not come up as a thing that's like something you're going to be auditioning for. Nor was it really a thing that I was auditioning for in New York. Like, I was mostly going in on film and TV and some plays, and every once in a while, because they were like, "Oh, you just graduated, so like you look like you could be in Book of Mormon, and we're just gonna give you an audition." Like, like I could
Yeah.
never sing that high. Like, it just so all my auditions for musicals were like that, or like, "Oh, going for the lead in Book of Mormon," which I could never get. Like, I was never I would never go in on that now, knowing what I know. I'm like, I can't do that show. Um, so I go to LA, and my manager calls me and is like, "We have an audition for you for this thing called Heathers based off of the movie. Do you know the movie?" And I was like, "No." They're like, "Okay, watch the movie. It's great." And I watched the movie and I was like, "What is this? Like, this is so weird." And
Uh-huh.
they're like, "No, it's a really like a cult kind of thing. Everyone knows it." And they're like, and besides, everyone behind it are film and TV people in LA. They're really well known. It'd be good for that you to just like get in front of them. And I was like, okay. So they gave me the materials for JD because I don't think they were really looking for. I don't actually know, but they gave me the materials for JD, and I went in and I prepared. And um, I don't really read music. I don't really like. I just didn't study musical theater. Uh, and so the one thing I took away from like our singing class in college was, if you don't have the perfect song, that's fine. Pick something that you sound good, so that at least they're like, oh, he can sing. Like, we can give him. Yeah. So I sang. What more can I say? From what's the show from?
Um,
What more can I say? How can I confess? How confused am I? It's like a gay love thing. Like,
yeah.
it made no sense in the context of any of this. Even though I guess Kurt and Ram kind of, but I knew I could sing it kind of well, and I was like, I'm gonna sing that. And then they asked for an a cappella. No. They asked for another song, and I was like, oh, I know this kind, because they wanted something contemporary. I was like, I kind of remember this contemporary song. I'll just sing it a cappella. So I sang like an a cappella thing, and they like called me back, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And like, and just before I left, they're like, oh, can you take a look at these Ram and Kurt sides? They're kind of like the funny jock sides, and here's a song called Blue, and can you like learn that? And I was like, sure, sure, sure. Here's the track for to like people are singing it, but like the cut was different. Whatever. They gave me everything. They're like, can you come tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I go home, and one again, like the sheet music doesn't match the recording they gave me, and I don't really know how to jump around. I like don't. So I learned a little bit of like GarageBand to be able to like cut the recording to match, I think match the sheet music.
Yeah.
So I cut the recording match. So I have a thing I can listen to and try and sing along with. I think it's right. And I go in for the callback, and they were like not having the acapella song. Like Larry O'Keefe was like, no, sorry, no acapella. Do you have anything in your book? And I was like, sure. And I just literally opened up my book, which was a binder full of any audition I'd ever gone in on. And the You and Me Book of Mormon song was on the left. And they're like, you can sing that. And I was like, yeah. I went in on that like a year and a half ago, but like, yeah, let's do it. And whatever it was, like the nerves or the kicked in, and suddenly it didn't seem as high as it used to seem. And I was like, that sounded really great. Did the JD stuff. It was not great. I mean, it was fine. And then I did I did Kurt, and they really, really responded. They were laughing a lot, which always feels good. And you're like, okay, great. And then they said, thank you. And I was like, actually, can I read the other part too? Because I think it's really funny. And they were like, yeah, sure. Like, cool. Sorry. I just think it's really funny, and I want to do it because I think it's funny. And they were like, yeah, fine. So I did it. And they're like, great. Can you come back? We're like pairing people together later. And I was like, okay. So then I show up, and I see all these people who are there. And again, I feel like really out of my element. I'm like, this is not my element. I don't know how the whole musical theater world is. I just hadn't done anything. And I see a very tall guy who, like, handsome, and he's wearing like guy liner. And I was like, I like him. He's got these bright blue eyes. I'm like, he must know that, like, maybe that's his thing. Like on callbacks, he wears guy liner, like makes his eyes pop. I don't know. I wasn't gonna like call him out and like make fun of it, but I was like, good on you. Like, that's pretty cool. So he's like in the bathroom, and I go in the bathroom and I like pee. And I looked at him, I was like, do you want to book this? And he was like, yeah. I was like, let's book this. I think they're pairing people up. And he's like, yeah. And so eventually we got paired up together, and it was John Edson. And so I was like, I have this recording that I pieced together. I think it's what the music is. Like, do you want to like listen to it together? He's like, yeah. So we played it a little bit. We kind of sang along. And we went in, and everything like worked out really well. And like, it was almost like we had choreographed some stuff, and we just like had a lot of fun together. And I've never done this. I've never like exchanged numbers with someone at an audition, like not in a romantic way, but just in like a, hey, want to be friends? Like, an audition is not the place to be like, hey, new friend. But we did, and we ended up going out and getting a drink that night. We're like, let's go grab a drink. We got a drink. And then when I found out, I texted him, was like, hey, did you hear anything? And he was like, yeah, I booked it. I was like, me too. And I was like, oh, great.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then like a year later, whenever we were like in New York and we were doing it, and we had to do like a little Q&A, and one of the Q&As was like, what was the first thing you noticed about the other person? And I told him about the eyeliner thing, and apparently he had been doing a Spice Girls like parody that day and just couldn't get all the makeup off. And I was like, oh, I thought it was just like you really wanted to enhance your natural beauty.
I love that story so much. That's so iconic. Oh, I've lost you. You paused. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, someone was calling me.
No, it's okay. I love that story so much. That's so iconic. And the build-up. I love that the Mormon came into that story as well.
I know, crazy. Yeah. I don't think I've never sounded better, and also like definitely didn't know all the words and just kind of like scattered my way through.
Sometimes in auditions though, when you get like thrown in the deep end and you have no idea what it is you're meant to be singing, sometimes they're the best ones. Like when they just
Yeah.
like, take the key while you're stood there, you're like, I don't even know what these notes are that I'm singing anymore, and I'm so nervous I can't even think about it.
Yeah, like, I mean, this may be if someone is an incredible singer and that's what they do, then I get that, like, when they walk into the room, they're like, this is the thing that's going to get me cast, is like my singing. That is not me at all. I'm like, what's going to get me cast is acting and showing them that I am capable of singing well. And if they like me enough, it will either be a good fit or they might bring it down or change something, you know. But I'm like, for me at least, that's how I survive musical theater auditions.
Yeah. That's super cool. Okay, next question. The funniest moment for you during the run of Heathers?
Okay, so I laugh if I think I'm gonna like make someone else laugh, I will crack myself up. And I also laugh at like really inappropriate times when I don't know what to do. So there's two moments. One in LA and one in New York. In LA, it was when it's funny enough, they're both the same moment, just two different things happened. So it's when John and I like come up for the first time in our underwear as ghosts. And at some, I don't know if you guys did this, but at some point we like did this is grotesque, but we did like a fingering gag, and then I smelled my fingers. Is that a thing that you guys did too?
So they tried it and then they cut it. But I don't think it was as funny as when you guys did it. So it was like...
Well, it worked and everyone laughed. And then I continued to laugh. And then all the girls, everyone in front of us is facing the audience and we're behind them. And I start laughing. I like can't, like I'm like shaking and I can't breathe. And the audience is laughing like even more. And the girls have no idea like what's going on. They're trying to get through the scene, but they can't because like I'm like losing it. And John thinks they're laughing at him because he's like, I don't know. He just was like, he thought that he was really, really funny. So, I mean, it was hilarious. And the entire theater like laughed for way too long. But it was definitely because I broke. And then in New York, this is not funny, but I didn't know what to do. We were coming up the stairs, and John fell back into the hole, like in his underwear. And I looked down, and here's this like very large man, like this 6'3" guy, just like on stairs in underwear. And I'm supposed to, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should go back. So I'm just standing up there alone, like hearing this. I'm like, this is my life. This is real life. Like there's a very large man in underwear just back there somewhere, falling down some stairs. And I don't know why I thought it was like the funniest thing in the world.
It's just moments like that on stage, though, isn't it? When you can see what's going wrong and the audience has no idea. Like it you start. Like it's even funnier when no one knows what's happening. I just like
yeah.
I like that though.
Yeah, and I don't know what the audience saw. I'm like, he's a big guy in his underwear just falling down some stairs.
We used to have like a moment. I don't think did you guys have a flag in your production? You didn't, did you? Like a Westerberg flag?
Was there like, maybe I'm making this up in my head, or it's based on, was there sort of a Les Mis moment during Me Inside of Me?
Oh yeah, it was in Never Shut Up. It was in Never Shut Up Again, which didn't exist. But that was
Got it. Okay.
Same thing. Where I'd wag the flag, wave the flag.
Yeah, sure. Wag the flag sounds a lot more fun.
And you literally I'd hand it to a different person every night. And this one evening, I went into the wings to hand the flag over, and Jenny, who played Martha, was just there with no clothes on, and as like a joke. But I was just like, I cannot believe this has just happened. And then I came back on to finish my choreography, and I actually couldn't. I was just like an absolute state, and they're like the best moments in theatre.
Oh my god, yeah. But then the worst part is like, then when you get to that moment again, you're like, I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not, which means I'm going to laugh. In the funeral scene, I got yelled at so much. Because we would something would, as soon as Jessica is to my right, and as soon as I would feel her go, I would start losing it, and then apparently you could just see it was like a trickle effect. And by the end, everyone's like shaking and pretending to cry, but really like they're laughing at God only knows what.
Well, this is it. As soon as you ask a bunch of actors to face up stage, like there's only one thing that's going to happen, really, isn't there? So it's just
True.
like, yeah, love that. Absolutely love that. So another one. How has like COVID and lockdown like impacted your career in theatre? Like, what changes has it made for you?
Oh, well, I don't know if you know this or not, but Broadway's dead.
Oh,
Yeah, like, my career in theater is not going anywhere for quite some time because sadly our government and our country has handled it so unbelievably badly that it's going to be, I mean, I don't know when. Like, I know you guys have things much more under control and are already starting to talk about. I'm seeing friends like post, oh, I'm performing in August here and I'm doing this, not this August, but I think next or whatever. But
yeah,
we're not even really in a place to begin having those conversations. So I only moved back to New York because of Beautiful, and then Beautiful sort of opened up this world of musical theater that I was like, okay, now I'm being considered pretty seriously for things, so I'm going to stay. But now I'm just ready to get out and move to LA and come back to New York when I have a job, which I think
yeah.
is going to be well into next year.
Yeah, it's going to take a while, I think, for everything to get back on its feet. I mean, we aren't that far behind you in terms of disaster. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to take time to get everything back together. And I think the scary part, I think, for the arts right now is the fear of losing people and losing talent from the arts to people who can't survive in like waiting out for the arts to reopen.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah. There's
that's
no. I mean, you're back to, which is fine, like survival jobs, and what does survival jobs look like right now? And I've been. I was lucky enough. I was really lucky that I had 2.5 years on the Broadway show, which is great. And so when all of this, I decided to leave Beautiful in the fall, and then it closed, and then shortly after this happened. So I mean, I guess I was really lucky that I didn't have like the rug pulled out from under me. I was ready to move on. And then pilot season is like January through March, and I had a good pilot season, and that's when all this happened. So I was sort of expecting to be, if I didn't book anything during pilot season, I was sort of expecting to be unemployed right now.
okay.
So I was somewhat prepared, but it's still just awful. It's really, really
Hmm.
awful. It's hard.
And it is hard. It's literally the only word to describe it. It's just difficult, hard, and painful at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, there's the only silver lining to all of this is that I feel like I have so much FOMO when there's auditions all the time, meaning there should be jobs all the time, but I'm not booking the jobs, and so like, what am I missing out on? And if I like leave for a week or two to go somewhere, what happens if an audition pops up? And the fact that like no one's working and no one's doing anything, it kind of feels nice to be like, okay, well then like
And
what else is there?
this is the thing that everyone I think's been discussing actually, like that anxiety of waiting for an audition or not knowing when one's going to come through or like missing out on opportunities, like you say, that's just sort of disappeared because it feels like the race has sort of paused.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
yeah, it's
and
super
like.
bizarre.
Yeah, and my mom got in we talked a little bit about this, but my mom got in a really, really awful car accident, and she's doing much better. But like, it was really, really bad. And not that there's a good time for any of this to happen, but this is the best time for that to happen. Like, I am available. I was able to fly down to Florida, be there with her for as long as I could because COVID, they kind of closed the hospitals up. But all that being said, like, I'm able to be present and be there for my mom without in the back of my head even thinking about career and jobs and all of that, which feels nice. I would choose my mom over all that any day, but it's nice that that's like just not on the table. Um,
Just
and
depression.
and for her, yeah, and for her too, it's nice because she's just laying around. I'm like, well, you're not really missing out on anything. We're all just laying around. So
Hmm. No, absolutely. And like you've been so positive through the whole thing as well. So I absolutely commend you for like still going. Like it's one of the best
thanks.
things to do. And for even agreeing to do today, I was like so thrilled when you said yes. Because
Oh
I
yeah, no,
really do.
it's
So
nice. It's nice to do stuff like this.
hmm and how has Heather's had like has it had an impact on like your career moving forward from when you joined Heather's? And if
Oh
so,
God, yeah. Well, Heather's is so, I mean, I was so lucky to be a part of it because if I think back at like all of the Broadway shows that have happened since 2000, when did Heather's in LA happen? 2014 or something? I think it was like 2014. So in the last 5 years, if I think of every Broadway show, there's probably two or three that people still kind of talk about, right? If you talk about off-Broadway shows, I literally can't think of any off-Broadway musicals, maybe one that people still sort of talk about from 5 years ago. And yet Heather's, anywhere I go, anytime theater gets brought up, people know it and like love it. And it's sort of this like culty thing. When I was in high school, the like cool show was that like, if you really liked theater, you knew about, but if you didn't, like, was Bat Boy, which Larry O'Keefe wrote.
Yeah.
But that was like the cool show that if you really liked theater, you were like into Bat Boy. You weren't into that other stuff like Rent. It was like Bat Boy was really cool. And so, yeah, Heather's has been shocking. Like it is like truly, truly shocking how many people know it, how many people love it. When I mention it, people know it. Especially considering it was an off-Broadway show. It wasn't a Broadway production. So yeah, it opened up my career in terms of musical theater for sure, because suddenly people were like, oh, you were in the original cast of this show that like everyone knows. Two, I was a producer on Heather's in New York, and that was the first time I'd ever raised money for a show. And now I've been doing that like pretty consistently ever since for different projects, which is really, really fun. So yeah, it like changed the trajectory of my life in a huge way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And last two, so this one's like a more serious one, and then we'll do like a little fire round. So this one is
Okay.
like, what does theatre mean to you?
Oh, well, I don't know why this came to my mind when you just said this, but like, it feels reminiscent. Like I want theater to be really current and impactful, and I want that, but I kind of feel like we're in a different place where like different mediums have become that. So like Netflix and Hulu and like TV is sort of the more it's much more like immediately impactful. But I think theater, it's very rare that you get to like practice being in a room full of people, sitting down, watching something, having a human experience with other people around you. I mean, it's the opposite of COVID, Yeah. And so I think that like when we're back, when we can open theaters again, I think there's going to be, people are going to like really appreciate that. So it may not be the most like current and accessible thing because I could pick up my phone and watch Hamilton right now. But I think the medium itself is like really important and really now more than ever, I think something that we like need to practice more.
Mm-hmm. Love that. And this now is just some fire questions, and these are all based on
Let's
Heather.
get it.
And you just need to answer them as quickly as you can.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it. There's only like 7. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Slurpee or Big Gulp?
Big Gulp.
Off Broadway or Broadway?
Broadway.
Stage right or stage left?
Left.
Favorite Heather song?
Oh, I watched the one Kindergarten Boyfriend. I listened to Kindergarten Boyfriend every night. I sat in the wings in my underwear, just like sat and watched it.
A line you remember from the show?
Punch it in. That's the only.
A dance move you remember from the show?
Big fun. That one.
Act 1 or Act 2?
Act 1.
Last word you sing in the show?
Me? Me inside of me? No, that's definitely not it. I can just think of me inside of me. Oh no, beautiful. It's beautiful.
There you go. With those exact arm movements, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Love that. Honestly, watching everyone trying to think of the last word in the show has been my favourite part of today.
Man,
Go on.
what was your least favorite part of the show?
Least favourite part? Oh, I think so. Well, no, that's not a lie. That's a lie. It wasn't my least favourite part. No, I won't say that section because that was one of my favourite bits for the wrong reasons. Sorry, talking aloud, thought process.
That's okay. That's okay. Threw you for a loop.
Probably. So just before You're Welcome, which would have been Blue in your production, me and Liv, one of the other ensemble members, had to bring the fence on. Just a big old fence. And we would otherwise have had like a good 15-minute break to get some water and chill out. But because of this goddamn fence.
Yeah. Was that so he could climb something?
Literally. So, and they didn't really use it. And we were like, oh God, we could have had so much water in this time. But here we are, this bit of fence, the life of the ensemble.
Well, in the off-Broadway, or in the LA version, there were two poles in the middle of the theater just that were there as support beams. And so I was able to jump on one and hold on to it. And then in New York, we were rehearsing, and it's like, okay, where's a thing I can climb? And he was like, oh, just for now, just pretend to air, just climb, just mime it. I was like, okay, but surely, eventually we're gonna get a fence or something, anything. No. Just air mime the entire thing. And that was very strange. But my least favorite part was big fun until, because I was like, oh, this is so long. And big fun. I was like, I don't know, this is stupid. And then I actually saw a production and I was like, oh, big fun works really well. It really brings all these stories together. And I was like, oh, okay. It's just because I was up there. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Literally. And the one I was going to say, first of all, which totally wasn't my least favourite moment, in the scene where you guys first come in your underwear and it's like, I know who killed JD, that section. We I don't think anyone was on stage in your production, but in our production we all froze on stage for the entire scene.
Oh my gosh.
And it's quite a long scene, and it's not my least favourite moment because we actually used to howl every night, and it was those things where things would happen that I've literally told 50 stories from that moment today, but that was another one of those moments where we were all stood there God, what are we going to do for 3.5 minutes other than just completely wind each other up off stage.
In the fight scene, I would freeze when I would freeze like this. I can't really do it right now because I'm on a couch, but I was definitely in a crunch position that I had to slowly come down. And I did it on purpose because I knew that all the understudies would die every time they had to do it, which they did. They were like, why did you do that? I was like, thought it would look cool.
Love that. Thank you so much for joining me.
This was so fun.
You're a dream. And yeah, hopefully everyone goes and donates to either the Actors Fund or Fund for Freelancers in the UK. And it's just two charities that are going towards helping people right now and getting money to them really quickly.
For what it's worth, you guys, the Actors Fund was the very first, within a week and a half of them announcing that, COVID was going to shut everything down. Within a week and a half, I had a check from the Actors Fund for assistance. Meanwhile, New York State unemployment, it took 4 months. It literally took 4 months to figure out. So the Actors Fund is incredible, and I'm sure the other organization over in the UK does really, really similar work. So I can't tell you how helpful it was for them to jump in as quickly as they did.
Mm-hmm. They're amazing. Thank you so much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure.
This was so fun. Thank you. This will definitely be the highlight of my day.
Enjoy the rest of it. I hope you have a good one.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.